Hayreddin Barbarossa, or Barbarossa Hayreddin Pasha Paşa, Hızır Hayreddin Pasha, also Hızır Reis, before being promoted to the rank of Pasha and becoming the Kapudan Pasha. Born Khidr, was an Ottoman admiral of the fleet who was born in the island of Lesbos and died in Constantinople, the Ottoman capital. Barbarossa's naval victories secured Ottoman dominance over the Mediterranean during the mid-16th century, for the Battle of Preveza in 1538 until the Battle of Lepanto in 1571. Hayreddin was an honorary name given to him by Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent. He became known as Barbarossa in Europe, a name he inherited from his elder brother Oruç Reis after Oruç was killed in a battle with the Spanish in Algeria. Oruç was also known as Barbarossa, which sounded like Barbarossa to the Europeans, and since Oruç did have a red beard, the nickname stuck. In a process of linguistic reborrowing, the nickname then stuck back to Hayreddin's native Turkish name, in the form Barbarossa. Background: Khidr was born in 1466, or around 1478, in the village Palaeokipos on the Ottoman island of Midilli, the son of Yakup Aga, a Turk Sipahi from Janitsa, and a Christian Greek woman from Mytilene. His father's family was probably recently converted. According to some historians, his father was of Albanian origin. His mother was a widow of an Orthodox priest. His parents were married and had 2 daughters and 4 sons, Ishak, Oruç, Khidr and Ilyas. Yakup took part in the Ottoman conquest of Lesbos in 1462 from the Genoese Gattilusio dynasty, and as a reward, was granted the fief of the Banova village in the island. He became an established potter and purchased a boat to trade his products. The 4 sons helped the father with his business, but not much is known about the daughters. At first Oruç helped with the boat, while Khidr helped with pottery. Early career: all 4 brothers became seamen, engaged in marine affairs and international sea trade. The first brother to become involved in seamanship was Oruç, who was joined by his brother Ilyas, later obtaining his own ship. Khidr also began his career at sea. The brothers initially worked as sailors, but then turned privateers in the Mediterranean to counteract the privateering of the Knights Hospitaller, who were based in the island of Rhodes. Oruç and Ilyas operated in the Levant, between Anatolia, Syria, and Egypt. Khidr operated in the Aegean Sea and based his operations mostly in Thessaloniki. Ishak, the eldest, remained on Mytilene and was involved with the financial affairs of the family business. Death of Ilyas, captivity and liberation of Oruç. Oruç was a very successful seaman. He also learned to speak Italian, Spanish, French, Greek and Arabic in the early years of his career. While returning from a trading expedition in Tripoli, Lebanon, with his younger brother Ilyas, they were attacked by the Knights of St. John. Ilyas was killed in the fight, and Oruç was wounded. The father's boat was captured, and Oruç was taken as a prisoner and detained in the knight's castle at Bodrum for nearly 3 years. Upon learning the location of his brother, Khidr went to Bodrum and managed to help Oruç escape. Oruç the corsair. Oruç later went to Antalya, where he was given 18 galleys by the Sazard Korkut, an Ottoman prince and governor of the city, and charged with fighting against the Knights of St. John, who were inflicting serious damage on Ottoman shipping and trade. In the following years, when Korkut became governor of Manisa, he gave Oruç a larger fleet of 24 galleys at the port of Izmir and ordered him to participate in the Ottoman naval expedition to Apulia in Italy, where Oruç bombarded several coastal castles and captured 2 ships. On his way back to Lesbos, he stopped at Euboea and captured 3 galleons and another ship. Reaching Mytilene with these captured vessels, Uruk learned that Korkut, who was the brother of the new Ottoman Sultan Selim I, had fled to Egypt in order to avoid being killed because of succession disputes, a common practice at the time. Fearing trouble due to his well-known association with the exiled Ottoman prince, Uruk sailed to Egypt, where he met Korkut in Cairo and managed to get an audience with the Mamluk Sultan Khizr al-Ghari, who gave him another ship and appointed him with the task of raiding the coasts of Italy and the islands of the Mediterranean that were controlled by Christians. After passing the winter in Cairo, he set sail from Alexandria and frequently operated along the coasts of Liguria and Sicily. Khizr under Uruk. In 1503, Uruk managed to seize 3 more ships and made the island of Jerba his new base, thus moving his operations to the western Mediterranean. Khizr joined Uruk at Jerba. In 1504, the brothers contacted Abu Abdullah Muhammad Hamiz, Sultan of Tunisia from the Beni Hafs dynasty, and asked permission to use the strategically located port of La Goulette for their operations. They were granted this right with the condition of leaving 1/3 of their gains to the Sultan. Uruk, in command of small galleots, captured 2 much larger papal galleys near the island of Elba. Later, near Lipari, the 2 brothers captured a Sicilian warship, the Cavalleria, with 380 Spanish soldiers and 60 Spanish knights from Aragon on board, who were on the way from Spain to Naples. In 1505, they raided the coasts of Calabria. These accomplishments increased the fame, and they were joined by several other well-known Muslim corsairs, including Kurtoglu. In 1508, they raided the coasts of Liguria, particularly Diano Marina. In 1509, Ishak also left Mytilene and joined his brothers at La Goulette. The fame of Uruk increased when, between 1504 and 1510, he transported Muslim Hijaz from Christian Spain to North Africa. His efforts of helping the Muslims of Spain in need and transporting them to safer lands earned him the honorific name Barbarossa, which eventually, due to the similarity in sound, evolved in Spain, France and Italy into Barbarossa. In 1510, the 3 brothers raided Cape Passaro in Sicily and repulsed a Spanish attack on Buggy, Oran and Algiers. In August 1511, they raided the areas around Reggio Calabria in southern Italy. In August 1512, the exiled ruler of Buggy invited the brothers to drive out the Spaniards, and during the battle, Uruk lost his left arm. This incident earned him the nickname Gummaskull, in reference to the silver prosthetic device that he used in place of his missing limb. Later that year, the 3 brothers raided the coasts of Andalusia in Spain, capturing a galleot of the Lomellini family of Genoa, who owned the Tabarca island in that area. They subsequently landed on Minorca and captured a coastal castle and then headed towards Liguria, where they captured 4 Genoese galleys near Genoa. The Genoese sent a fleet to liberate the ships, but the brothers captured the flagship as well. After capturing a total of 23 ships in less than a month, the brothers sailed back to La Goulette. There, they built 3 more galleots and a gunpowder production facility. In 1513, they captured 4 English ships on the way to France, raided Valencia, where they captured 4 more ships, and then headed for Alicante and captured a Spanish galley near Malaga. In 1513 and 1514, the 3 brothers engaged the Spanish fleet on several other occasions and moved to the new base in Cherchell, east of Algiers. In 1514, with 12 galleots and 1,000 Turks, they destroyed 2 Spanish fortresses at Buggy, and when the Spanish fleet under the command of Miguel de Garia, Viceroy of Majorca, Mayorga, arrived for assistance. They headed towards Ceuta and raided that city before capturing Gel in Algeria, which was under Genoese control. They later captured Mardia in Tunisia. Afterwards, they raided the coasts of Sicily, Sardinia, the Balearic Islands and the Spanish mainland, capturing 3 large ships there. In 1515, they captured several galleons, a galley and 3 barks at Mayorga. Still in 1515, Uruk sent precious gifts to the Ottoman Sultan Selim I, who, in return, sent him 2 galleys and 2 swords embellished with diamonds. In 1516, joined by Kurtoglu, the brothers besieged the castle of Elba, before heading once more towards Liguria, where they captured 12 ships and damaged 28 others. Rulers of Algiers in 1516, the 3 brothers succeeded in capturing Gel and Algiers from the Spaniards but eventually assumed control over the city and surrounding region, forcing the previous ruler, Abu Hammo Musa III of the Beni Ziyad dynasty, to flee. The Spaniards in Algiers sought refuge on the island of Penon off the Moroccan coast and asked Charles V, King of Spain and Holy Roman Emperor, to intervene, but the Spanish fleet failed to force the brothers out of Algiers. Algiers joins the Ottoman Empire after consolidating his power and declaring himself Sultan of Algiers. Uruk sought to enhance his territory inland and took Miliana, Mahdia and Teocutenes. He became known for attaching sails to cannons for transport through the deserts of North Africa. In 1517, the brothers raided Capo Limiti and later, the island of Capo Rizzuto in Calabria. For Uruk, the best protection against Spain was to join the Ottoman Empire, his homeland and Spain's main rival. For this, he had to relinquish his title of Sultan of Algiers to the Ottomans. He did this in 1517 and offered Algiers to the Ottoman Sultan Selim I. The Sultan accepted Algiers as an Ottoman sanjak, appointed Uruk as the governor of Algiers and chief sea governor of the West Mediterranean, and promised to support him with janissaries, galleys and cannons. Final engagements and death of Uruk Nishik. The Spaniards ordered Abu Zayn, whom they had appointed as the new ruler of Tlemcen and Oran, to attack Oruç Reis from land. But Uruk learned of the plan and preemptively struck against Tlemcen, capturing the city and executing Abu Zayn in the fall of Tlemcen. The only survivor of Abu Zayn's dynasty was Sheikh Buf Ahmad, who escaped to Oran and called for Spain's assistance. In May 1518, Emperor Charles V arrived at Oran and was received at the port by Sheikh Buf Ahmad and the Spanish governor of the city, Diego de Córdoba, Marquis of Comines, who commanded a force of 10,000 Spanish soldiers. Joined by thousands of local Bedouins, the Spaniards marched overland towards Tlemcen. Uruk Nishik awaited them in the city with 1,500 Turkish and 5,000 Moorish soldiers. They defended Tlemcen for 20 days, but were eventually killed in combat by the forces of Garcia d'Atinio. Khizr Reis, now given the title of Beylibi by Sultan Selim I, along with janissaries, galleys and cannons, inherited his brother's place, his name and his mission.